What's up guys, Heeking here, bringing you another new video regarding a discussion on Resident Evil, this time about the new RE movie coming out by the director of Barbarian, I believe, Zach Cregger. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm sorry. But yeah, before I begin further on, to like and subscribe, and yeah, this is going to be a quick, short video just discussing my thoughts on some of the recent information we got regarding what this new movie is likely going to be. And it's not really good news, unfortunately. So yeah, let's just go quickly through the interviews that we got, or the quotes that we've heard from. So yeah, in an interview with SFX magazine by Bloody Disgusting, Zach Cregger, am I saying that right? Zach Cregger explained that his Resident Evil movie won't be exactly like the games. He said he loves the franchise and has played Resident Evil 4 countless times. Oh boy. It's just getting worse now. Okay, I'm definitely not trying to be completely obedient to the law of the games. I'm trying to tell a story that just feels authentic to the experience you get when you play the games. Oh, these people never learn. They never listen and they never learn. Jesus Christ. Moving on. The filmmaker continued that given the franchise's huge fan base, he is aware that people will have opinions about his adaptation, and he knows that they'll share them on the internet. He said, "So all I want to do is just make a really good movie and tell a story that's compelling. I know that I'm going to be happy with the movie, and hopefully other people will too. I will also say I've never seen a movie like it." The hell does that mean? So he's not going to be obedient to the law of the games. Okay, I get it. It's a huge franchise. There's a lot of stuff going for it. Fair enough. But see, this is the thing. Like, people want an accurate adaptation, or at least as close to an accurate adaptation as you're going to get. Okay, the Paul W. Anderson movies failed in that regard. Now, I'm all for a new type of storyline and universe and that. Don't get me wrong. But if you're not going to do it right or consistently, then there's no bloody point. This is one of the reasons I'm not really a big fan of the Paul W. Anderson movies. Like I think the first two films were fine for what they were trying to do. But then when they got to Extinction, the third movie, and they were like, oh yeah, the world is over, it's post-apocalyptic, it just went off the rails. So I didn't like that. Like, if you're going to do that, at least spend a movie, you know, building up to that. At least, you know, and keep the story and the characters and everything consistent. But these movies were so inconsistent with their storytelling, the character development, their own lore. Like, the amount of times Anderson retconned his own lore in his movie universe was ridiculous. And then the biggest problem I have with Welcome to Raccoon City is the fact that it's an hour-and-a-half bloody movie trying to adapt Resident Evil 1 and 2 at the same time. And while there's some good ideas there in terms of how they're trying to do it, it just didn't come together that well, unfortunately. And maybe if it had been a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, you would have been able to get away with it. But in my honest opinion, they should have adapted Resident Evil 0 and 1 together as one big story, and they didn't do that. And I keep saying this, if you're not going to give it the budget it deserves, if you're not going to give it the runtime it deserves, if you're not going to be accurate with the casting and that, there's no point in doing it then. It just feels cheap and tacky. The best movies, in my opinion, have been the CGI films, for the most part, because at least they take place in the world of the games. So I don't understand why you can't just make an RE movie that takes place in the world of the games, like the CGI films. So we got this as well. Now, this was a few months ago. I think this was back in March. According to film industry insider Daniel Rechtman, the upcoming Resident Evil reboot will follow a helpless courier tasked with delivering a package to a remote hospital. He finds himself caught in the middle of an outbreak and must fight through hordes of mutated creatures to survive. If accurate, this report would suggest that the film will feature an original story, as that's not the plot of any of the Resident Evil games. Yeah, so this was a plot leak, apparently, from back in March. And honestly, with what the director has now said about what his movie is going to be like, I think it's pretty much certified that, yeah, this leak might have been somewhat accurate. Look, I actually don't, like I said, I don't have a problem with an original story. I think the best thing to do would be to make a Resident Evil movie that's set in the game universe. So you create your own new rules, you create your own new lore, but you tie it to the lore of the game world. Okay, you tie it to that. So maybe you start the movie and you give us a quick background on the history of the games, and just to catch people up, so they know, including fans. Okay, this takes place in the game world, but you do your own thing with it. And then when eventually you maybe this first movie you do what Resident Evil 7 did. You have like a cameo from a game character showing up at the very end to save the day or something. And then when you do the sequel later on, you can bring more game characters in, ones that make sense. How awesome would it be, for example, if we got a Resident Evil movie, right, that had Billy return or Carlos return? You know, you bring back characters we haven't seen in the games in years, and you do a story with them set in this movie or something. I wouldn't mind something like that. Like, you can surely do a film, live action film, in that way. So I don't understand why they haven't sat down and gone, hey, let's make a Resident Evil movie universe that takes place in the game world, but you know, we can create our own new characters, and sometimes we'll have the game characters cross over and that. Like, you're using real actors, aren't you? Like, for the video games. Why not just bring those actors into the movies and have them cameo and play their characters? I don't get why it's so hard to do this. Like, it should be one of the easiest. Okay, to be fair, it's not that easy. Okay, I've sat down years ago. I wrote like a few drafts of a Resident Evil 1 adaptation, and I tried to use the S.D. Perry novel for a bit of inspiration for a lot of the dialogue, for a lot of the quotes. But I still try to do my own thing with it as well, and still be as close as possible to the games while trying to make it feel like a movie. Because at the end of the day, it's a movie. It has to feel like a movie. It has to be a movie. It can't be a video game, you know? You gotta get rid of a lot of the fat that's in a game and try and make it work as a film. And I tried to go with that mindset. It's like, okay, if I was making this movie, like, what would I keep? What would be cut because of budget and that and reasons? Like, how can I constrain this? How can I streamline this? And I tried to do that. I did like 3 or 4 drafts. I think one of my drafts ended up being sort of like a semi-remake of the Paul W. Anderson movie with the game characters instead. So I did sort of copy that a bit as well. Like let me do a remake of the first Resident Evil film, but with the game characters, and change a few things around. You know, cut the Red Queen and all that. And again, keep it simple to the games. But like, it didn't quite fully work. Okay, in the end, I wasn't really happy with it. And I realized that it is a hard task. You know, it is a hard task, but the biggest difficulty with it is like, I was writing like, what, 120 page, 130 page script. That's basically a 130 minute movie, essentially, because each page counts as a minute. And no one's gonna, like, that's the thing, no one is gonna do a 2 hour, 30 minute Resident Evil movie. They're just not. If you're not gonna do that, you're not gonna do it right. So then what about a show? Well, we already had the Netflix show and it did not turn out right. But this is another thing. It's like, if you're going to do it right, do it right. And I think a TV show is the way to go if you want to do an accurate adaptation of the games, or at least as accurate as you can get on a budget that you're given, you know? But when it comes to these movies, just do a good film that takes place in the game universe. I don't get why it's so hard to do that. I really don't. Anyway, guys, that's my thought on this. It's not a lot, to mind you, but yeah, it's just kind of annoying because, like, this is going to be what, our third reboot, essentially, because it does sound like they're ignoring what happened with Welcome to Raccoon City. They're not continuing with that. Like, all the rumors early on were, we're getting a Resident Evil 0 movie, but apparently that's not the case, which means Dusk Garland was wrong, by the way, because he kept saying, oh yeah, they're making a Resident Evil 0 movie. Yeah, clearly they're not fucking doing that. So they're doing their own thing with it. Which means, yeah, we're not continuing off with the cliffhanger or whatever from Welcome to Raccoon City, which is a shame, because maybe they could have done, to be I don't know, to be fair, maybe I'm kind of happy they're not. Like, I wasn't a big fan of that film. Like I said, some of the ideas were interesting and good, like, but they half-arsed it. It was rushed, it was too short. It just didn't make sense. There was no real like, whatever character development you tried to throw in there just wasn't there. Like, it's a big shame. The characters felt like the game characters. Like, seriously, Leon and Jill are your most diverse of characters, and you end up casting the worst people for the bloody job. Like, I don't get this. Like Leon is half Italian. You couldn't cast an Italian dude to play Leon. Jill is half French and Japanese. You couldn't get a person to play that role. Instead, you cast freaking Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp to play her. Like, I like the actress, but terrible casting decision. And it's just not good. It's just not good. But yeah, speaking of the Resident Evil movies, I'm actually curious about this. Would you guys want me to react to the would you guys want me to react to the Resident Evil films? And I do like a review for it as I'm watching it or something. Would you want me to do that? I've been wondering about this because I want to do reaction videos. But obviously I want it to be like horror or Resident Evil related. So I don't know. Like, would you want me to do that? Just a question, just a thought. I don't know if I would be able to. I'm wondering if would you want me to, and if I can try and see if I can make it happen. But yeah, it's a bit difficult with the way. Because I'm only using a laptop and a little camera here to do all of these videos. Okay, I don't have high standing equipment, so I don't know how I would get around reacting to that. So maybe like a digital copy or something I would have to buy and watch. But I'm just wondering. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on this. I hope you like this video. Sorry if it's a bit late. You know, like, I'm waiting for RE9 news to come out so I can do more videos. But at the moment, it's all very scarce. So I'm just waiting for Gamescom. And I'm busy with other things as well, so obviously you're not going to get a lot of videos from me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. As always, I hope you enjoyed this. As always, remember to like and subscribe. And I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care.